Hi everybody, welcome to another tutorial on BeepStreet Drambo, the modular groovebox. In this video I'd like to talk to you about sample and hold, and I'd like to show you how you can use that, for example, to impact the modulated effect of a filter. So let's click on the plus sign and let's go on the generator and let's select a preset on the instrument. A dust pad B will do nicely. Let's scroll to the right hand side, let's bring up the keys and let's play some of the keys to hear what it sounds like. Okay, at the moment there is no modulated effect, so let's start adding an effect. So let's go on the processor and let's select filter. So now we have a classical filter cutoff resonance effect applied. Okay, now let's add an LFO on the processor. Let's move to the right to the top. Sorry, on the modulator. Let's move right to the top and let's select LFO. Let's move to the right so that we can see better the different modules. Let's click on cutoff and let's select as input the output of the LFO. Let's change the amplitude or the value, the amount that the LFO will be used from the LFO to modulate the cutoff, like so. And let's try again. As you can hear, the filter cutoff is modulated by the LFO2, and of course you can change in the usual way the frequency here of the modulation and the amount, the type of waveform that you're going to use, etc. Now let's add under this utility. Let's scroll right down to the bottom and let's add an oscilloscope. Let's take as input from that oscilloscope the output from the LFO. Let's change also the X scale so you can see the waveform that is coming out from the LFO, and this is what is used to modulate the cutoff. Okay, let's try again. Okay, let's change the frequency. This is going slower, and as just mentioned, you can change that as you like. Now, let's change a little bit of things, and let's add a sample and hold rack. So let's scroll up under utility, and you find S and H, which stands for sample and hold. You click on it, and as you can see in the help is a sample and hold module. So how does it work? It's very simple. It takes an input here, and when it receives a trigger, a pulse signal, it will sample that input and hold that value until it receives another pulse. When it receives the next one, it will sample again what is coming through the input, and it will continue like so. So depending on how quickly you sample and therefore how quickly the pulses arrives to the sample and hold module, you will see that the sound wave here will start to lose, if you like, details, because the details will be changed depending on the frequency of the pulses, and of course if that is extremely high it will resemble what you see now at the moment. So let's start to make some changes now. Let's double click on the LFO2 here, modulating dial. Let's click remove. Okay, then let's click again on the cutoff and let's choose now what comes out from the output from the sample and hold, and let's increase the amount to something like that, and also let's give it a little bit of resonance. Now let's change the input to the oscilloscope and let's ensure that the input comes directly from the sample and hold, because that's the one which will be which will be altering the LFO signal. Okay, so now we have an LFO output which is going directly to, which we have to set it to like so, to the sample and hold. Okay, we don't and then from the sample and hold we have the output which is going to the oscilloscope and also is further modulating the cutoff here. Now if you play, this will not work for a number of reasons. First of all, the filter is now set to take the output of the sample and hold. That's wrong. We need to change that to take the output of the instrument which we chose earlier. Additionally, we need something, another source that will send pulses to the sample and hold module to instruct the module to sample, to create a new sample and then hold it until the next pulse arrives. So let's click and move to the right hand side. Let's go under utility again and let's choose a clock generator like so. So let's now choose that the clock generator will drive through pulses, gate pulses, the sample and hold like so. Now, for this to work, you need to click play because that will start to send time signal directly to the clock generator. So let's click play. As you can see, you can start to see now all the waveform which is coming out from the LFO2 being sampled. Of course, if I increase the triggers per minute on the clock generator, there will be quicker pulses going to the sample and hold, and the waveform will start to get better because it will be sampling the waveform at higher frequency. And if I move it up again, you can see that the very top it will start to resemble the original one. So if I leave it like that for a moment and let's start to click play and let's start playing. So at the moment you hear the usual modulated effect directly on the filter, but let's see what happens now. Let's start to, for example, decrease as I play the triggers per bit, which will start to decrease the number of times that the sample and hold will sample the waveform coming from the LFO, and see what happens on the oscilloscope, and also see what happens on the sounds that you will hear. As you can hear, you can start to hear a granulated effect as the waveform is going up and down through the sound shape, and that is what is happening because of the sample and hold. So let's again decrease the triggers per bit. Let's change the X scale as well. And you can see what is happening. So you will hear an effect of step going up and going down in a waveform which is dictated by the LFO, which will be sine wave. Let's increase the number of voices to 8. Let's try again. And you find these effect sample and hold in a lot of filtered, for example, and other synth applications. So this is a straightforward way on how you can use that and implement it in Drambo. I hope you found this useful, and as always, see you next time. Bye!